What is up, YouTube? So, coming in with the 10-day post-surgery update today. This one is, so yeah, like I said, I'm 10 days post-surgery, had the surgery 11 days ago, which is really, really weird to say because it's actually gone quite quickly. So I'm almost at the point now where I can start exercising again. I can do that on the 14th day post-surgery, so on the Thursday coming. I'm recording this on the Sunday. So getting close to being able to do things again, which is really, really nice. Some things have kind of changed with my recovery. I've had to contact the clinic. I've had some swelling come up on my left pec that's been quite red, very sore in fairness. We've put it down to some fluid. They're sending over some antibiotics, so we're going to get that bit sorted. These things aren't always smooth. It kind of happens. It's one of those things. It has been quite uncomfortable. I don't normally take painkillers for anything, but I have been using just some basic paracetamol to just dull the pain a little bit because it's right under, kind of on this side here, it's right where my arm kind of sits if I'm walking around. So it's been particularly uncomfortable these past few days. It does feel less today than it has done yesterday. Yesterday was probably the worst day I've had with it yet. But the antibiotics should be here tomorrow, so I will be taking those. And hopefully that'll clear it up. My stitching is actually healing up pretty well. So all in all, the recovery, bar like this swelling that's coming up, is going all right, but you can't expect everything to work perfectly. And the body will do things like, it's quite a traumatic surgery. Not only is my nipple being cut open around the areola, I've had a rod shoved in it for the liposuction, poked around. For those of you that don't know what it's like, you can YouTube it. I don't recommend it if you're squeamish, because it is not pretty. But it is what it is. So it can be quite an abusive surgery in a way, liposuction, which is the bit that's caused me the most issues. But it is part of what is going on, and that swelling has come up. So that's part of the update. Like I said, we're getting close to being able to do cardio again. So for the first 2 weeks, I've had to keep my heart rate below 100 beats per minute, or at least as much as I can anyway. That's not always so easy. It's quite irritating. I've got quite a high heart rate anyway. I sit around kind of 75, 80 beats per minute resting, which then makes it quite easy for me to get out of breath if I do something that I shouldn't, or walk up the stairs too quick. I've found it quite easy to kind of shoot it up just for short periods of time, but when you're told not to do something, it's in your head not to do it, which has been difficult to do sometimes. Obviously there's certain things that you can't do, which then become quite irritating, so you're relying on other people. It's this first phase of the recovery. I've got to remember, my chest has been cut open, and I've had 2 very large lumps removed. I did put up a picture on the Instagram profile, and I had one very weird message come back from it, which was it looked like KFC. I will not be eating KFC again for a little while. Now that thought is in my head. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's people, I had quite a few different responses, but one thing I've noticed actually from this whole series is I've had a lot of guys message me and say this is either something they're dealing with, they're looking at surgery, or they didn't even know what it was. So I think this is definitely brought to attention what gynecomastia is, that there is ways of dealing with it, and kind of the recovery side of having the surgery. I've been quite open with my cost of the surgery. So I think this has been quite a good video to have. I will be doing another video kind of just showing the stages of recovery as well, because obviously I've got all the photos, because I have to send photos to the clinic every time I have a shower, which is every 3rd or 4th day. Where I take off the plasters anyway. I clean every day, let's not get that confused, but when I can take the plasters off, the coverings off, which is every 3rd or 4th day, I have to send photos. So obviously I've got a nice library of photos to kind of put up to show the progress. The coloration and the bruising and things like that has gone really quickly. It's just the swelling that's stuck around for me, but that is to be expected. Like I said, we're just 10 days post-surgery, so I can only expect the swelling to still be there to a degree. But I'm looking forward to this next phase where I can start getting basic cardio back in. Obviously I'm not going to push it too much. I've been quite relaxed with my diet for the last 10 days. I've not really focused on having a diet. I've used this as like a 10-day reset. So tomorrow being Monday, I will be back on my normal routine exactly as it was. But having 10 days to let the body do what it needs to do, let my mind do what it needs to do as well, has been really, really important for me. I haven't had more than 4 days off the gym in a row since 2019, which was around June, I believe. So I've been training consistently for a long period of time. I haven't messed up on diet and gone off for a consistent period of time. And even then, like now, I haven't actually gone too far out from what I have. I still have my normal breakfast. I still have at least 1, maybe 2 chicken and rice meals. I might have rice and eggs if I can't be bothered to cook the second rice meal as chicken. So it's small changes like that. I might have chips and a steak pie at night instead of having like a normal bodybuilder-esque meal. But it's just allowed my head to kind of reset itself. So when I do get back into the gym, no matter what my goal is competitively or to grow, my head is going to go back in very, very focused. And I think I've really needed this time off. I did notice that I was starting to lose a little bit of love for training right towards the end. So it's going to be good to kind of get that love back and really go back in very focused. Hopefully, as I'm fully recovered and gone through the rehab, I will be just kind of coinciding with gyms in the UK opening up. I'm going to do as much as I can at home before the gyms reopen, but I'm expecting that to be in the next kind of 6 weeks. So hopefully actually I'll be recovered fully before they're opened. But we haven't got a date yet until tomorrow as far as I'm aware. So we'll see what happens with that. But hopefully by the time the gyms reopen, I should be good to go fully and we'll be able to progress no matter what the goals are. I have spoken to my coach on different options. We're looking at a few different things, but it's really, really going to depend on the shape of my chest, the size of my chest when I come out of this. And after a few weeks getting back into the swing of things, does my body look like it's ready for a prep, or do we need to just write this year off and focus on putting on quality tissue? I've got a funny feeling it might lean towards the second option a little bit more. Maybe do a show at the very end of the year, just trying to maybe qualify for a 2-bro show next year. But that is a very small possibility. From the way that my chest is recovered, where the swelling is sitting, I kind of have an idea of what my chest might look like. So I think from the way that it's looking and also the way that I feel within myself, I'm probably going to write off the rest of this year, or at least a good portion of it, and do one of the last shows of the year if I do and can. I know I can grow into shows, but this is kind of not what I want to do. I want to have good quality tissue on before I decide to prep again. But we will kind of see how that is. Obviously, like I said, I'm only 11 days post-surgery, so I won't make any solid decisions probably until 6 to 8 weeks post-surgery, when I've had a couple weeks back in the gym, so I can start lifting weights lightly after 4 weeks. By week 5 or 6, depending on my body, I should be good to go back to normal. So I'll see kind of around the 8 to 10 week mark how my physique looks with a week or 2 back in the gym, and then speak to my coach and see what we both agree on. Obviously, I'm not going to put myself into a show and look shit because I've had so much time off and had a big surgery done that does change the way that my chest looks. Obviously, I'm removing quite a large mass from my chest. Although it's not muscle tissue, it still sits there. So it does influence the way that my chest looks, and obviously having that removed is going to influence the way that my chest looks, any indentations against the nipples, because obviously there's no longer something there. That will be something that I consider as well. How does that look in my arms up poses, so like the front double biceps, the abs and thighs, how do they look with that indentation there? I know loads of guys that have it. There's one black Canadian bodybuilder I follow, Quinton Beastwood. He has a small indentation and he's nearly 300 pounds in the off season. So like, this is quite common. It's not something that's just happening to me, so I am fully aware of it, but it's something that we'll deal with. But that will kind of do for today's update. There's not much more to say. If you guys, as always, have any questions, just feel free to throw them my way. I love to answer anything. I think I've kind of shown with this series that there's a lot of questions out there that people don't really talk about, and that it is okay for us guys to go through this. It is normal for kind of 40 to 60% of men to go through this. We do have to be able to talk about this, especially with how much psychological effect it can have on you. If you're anything like me, I know how it feels, so don't be afraid to reach out. This it is something that we can talk about. It's something that there are things that can be done for. So reach out if you want, but if not, I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.